Welcome to Unit 2, Quadratic Functions, Lesson 4, Solving Quadratic Equations. A few targets today. Our first target is as follows. We're going to solve quadratic equations by factoring, and we're also going to solve quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula. The only real new part is the quadratic formula, and again, we are not going to simplify answers anymore. We're actually going to simplify the radical using Unit 1. All right, let's continue. Here we go. The first one is solving by factoring. Of course, we have to factor first. We got a simple trinomial for A. For B, we got a complex. For C, we've got a common factoring. For D, we've got difference of squares. And for E, we've got another simple trinomial. I'm going to skip right to the answers, though, because factoring should be something we were good at. So here they all factored nicely. The first one says find the roots. So how do we do this? To find the roots, we simply just set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So there's the first one. The second one with the same thing, we set it equal to 0. So here the first one, set it equal to 0, I get x equals 8. The second one, set it equal to 0, I get x equals negative 6. So it's that simple. Basically the factoring is a hard part. For B, again, set each equal to 0 and solve. Sorry, let's go up a little bit so we can see what B is. There's B. So again, the first one here, I got 2x minus 1 equals 0. Bring the 1 over, so I have 2x equals 1, and then x equals 1/2. The other one's just going to be simply x equals negative 1 or x equals negative 5. For C, this is a bit tricky because the first one is pretty obvious. This guy here, right? So we just set that guy equal to 0 and solve. So we get this, x equals 5. The other one, if you just have a monomial with a variable, set it equal to 0. Well, how do you do that, Mr. Wills? Well, basically, if you've got a monomial set equal to 0 with a variable, it's just going to be x equals 0. So that's a tricky one, but actually it's relatively simple. The next one here is difference of squares. So again, we set each factor equal to 0. So the first one's going to be 11 over 2 after I solve for that, and the other one is going to be negative 11 over 2. You don't have to show your work at all. Again, as I said before in previous lessons, you can just do constant over coefficient and change the sign. So this one has a negative sign, so that's why I get the positive answer. All right, and the last one, x minus 4, x minus 4. Mr. Wills did the exact same thing twice, so guess what? You're only going to have one answer, and that one answer will just be x equals 4. All right. I went through that rather quickly, and I do appreciate that, but again, all it is setting each factor equal to 0 and solving. I am now going to do the second part of the video, which was the quadratic formula.